Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast where we explore the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John.
Yes?
I gotta say, I just wanted to give you an opening so you could do your impression of that guy.
Yes?
All I could say is this week's movie is kind of, I would say, right up there. The last 2 weeks have been a 1-2 punch unseen since, I think, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. Where is one better than the other, or are they both pretty terrible in their own unique way?
Yeah.
This one is better, but again, I'm ready to leave the world of From Dusk Till Dawn.
No, there's no question that's the thing. 'Cause just before we were going, I was saying this movie is, I think, done a lot. To me, it was done a lot of favors by last week's movie. But that's not me saying this is good. This is baseline watchable in a way last week's was. Last week was actually hard to sit through. This kind of washed over me for the most part.
It did. And what is interesting, this one did try in its own way to... Well, I mean, I guess the other one did as well, but mimic the flow of From Dusk Till Dawn proper, whereas you've got a genre at the beginning of it, you follow that plot, and then your halfway point is, yay, vampires, and then Act 3 is a full-on, vampire orgy.
Yes.
And that's exactly what this one did in a better way than last week's.
Yes, although I think where it suffers is in the same places. It's not as annoying about suffering in those places.
Yeah,
it's
I will
still
say in this
dirt
case,
cheap. It's still pretty dumb, but it's once again, it's not aggressively punching me in the face. So
no,
that's better.
I would say that this one actually did at least pick up the pacing, and my enjoyment of it did pick up towards the end.
Yes.
Because it starts getting batshit nutty, and batshit's not me doing a vampire pun.
I will actually... there is a lot of batshit in the movie, I'm sure, though, with all these bats flying around. But I
believe that's called guano, John.
Guano. The thing about this, I agree... It bums me out that this is kind of a straight-to-video movie because the ideas in this are so crazy and big, and yet when they're really leaning into them, I'm going... Oh, you guys don't have the money, do you? That's a bummer.
It's not only you don't have the money, it's also, sadly, I agree, there's a decent idea as far as an origin story that I wasn't asking for. This could have been quite interesting.
Well, because the story by Robert Rodriguez credit makes sense to me, and he clearly had some thoughts about where this world came from, and then was just like, I don't know, can you make something out of these random notes?
Yeah, hey bro, you want to take this and run with it? And they do take it and run with it, but it's not just money. I think it's also, this filmmaker is not great either, in a different way than the previous one. So the Western part of it really lagged for me. I mean, it's the first half of it. They're not doing anything new.
The Western part of it.
Decent.
And actually, I'm looking at this guy's IMDb, the director of this movie, and it makes so much sense to me. Because I was going to say, the Western part of this, the first, half hour maybe, really felt like a movie I would have watched on TNT in the 90s with my grandfather. Like any Louis L'Amour adaptation they did. And then I look here, and in 1994, he directed The Desperate Trail with Sam Elliott. Which was like a TNT original movie.
Here's my question on that.
Yeah.
If you were to have watched that, do you think it also would have, every single frame would be color corrected and saturated to a ridiculous yellow-orange degree?
Probably not. I mean,
it's like sepia tone, only hot. It's hot sepia tone.
Probably not. I mean, because I will say, I actually kind of enjoy those, and they're a little bit better. And Sam Elliott is just, you put him in a cowboy hat, and you've got more legitimacy than this movie.
That's all fine. It's just, in the case of this, it's a director saying, that equals Old West to me.
Yes.
So anytime I will do something set in the Old West, get me that color
correction
software.
Brendan, I'm sure you're excited to know this is not the last movie we will see directed by this guy, nor is it the last vampire sequel we will see directed by this guy, because he also made 2008's The Lost Boys: The Tribe.
Oh, but not the Frog Brothers one?
This is the Frog Brothers are in both.
Oh, I thought one of them was actually called like Frog Brothers.
No. This is The Tribe, and then I forgot what the third one's called. But anyway,
can't wait.
We'll get to those. But I think I talked about this last week. This guy is a TV guy. Lots and lots of TV shows. And decent ones, but Fringe, Leverage,
sure.
Blue Bloods, that kind of stuff.
I will say there is competency behind the
camera.
There
is a guy who, yes, this time it does feel, unlike last time where it's like a guy who's got a lot to prove. This is a guy who's just got a grip of the wheel and is going, yep, we're just kind of gonna cruise. He's got the cruise control set on 40, and he's just like, don't fuck it up. And and it seems like he works a lot, probably because he works fast and cheap, and it's like, we need it by this time for this much money. He's like, you got it.
I am so willing to believe that, and it does feel that way where they could have gotten worse, they could have gotten better, but they got someone right in between that was probably affordable.
Totally, and it does feel like the script has more ambition than the last movie, but this is a director who's neither has ambition, as you're saying, nor is checked out, and is just like, yep, I made my shot list today.
Yep. And
I'd rather watch that than last week's movie, though. Like I said, I'd rather have baseline kind of boring competence than.
I agree. This one at least had the weird but awesome idea of working in historical figure Ambrose Bierce.
Really interesting and strange idea.
And what a delight to give to Michael Parks,
a guy who always improves material.
Yeah, he really delivers, and you can tell he's having fun. I think he knows this is a shit-ass movie, but the man's made plenty.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, he knows from shit-ass movies. So
yes, he does, but he gets to play the fun character. Yes. I mean, he is the fun character.
Absolutely, and he's great. I've never seen anything that wasn't improved by the presence of Michael Parks. Like, he's a guy... We love him over on the action shelf as well. We've seen him in a number of those movies. And he is a guy who we're like, man, no matter how shitty the thing is, he's here to play, man. I've never seen a checked out Michael Parks. He is always in on whatever he's doing.
God bless him.
Yeah, R.I.P., man. We lost him a couple years ago, and I love that guy.
Well, have you bothered looking?
Oh, wait. No, he's over here. Never mind. I got him. He's fine. No,
okay.
But he's a guy who, it makes sense. He had a late in career revival thanks to Tarantino, Rodriguez, and Kevin Smith.
It's similar, obviously, to Forrester. And there are a lot of. It took people who were themselves very talented filmmakers, but whose primary knowledge base comes from B and Z cinema to recognize they're like going. Just because their careers were in these shitty movies, these are really good, talented people, and I'm going to give them that late career boost. I'm going to bring them, give them their respect. It's
you got Tarantino.
Dig up Pam Grier.
Yeah, please. You got Tarantino talking about Then Came Bronson, where he's going like, yeah, man, the thing about that show,
on a motorcycle.
It was a hidden gem, man. And I'll never forget the episode of Gunsmoke he did where he shows up in town. He's always Tarantino will always go that where it's like, oh yeah, remember that Bonanza he did? It was great.
And the entire audience goes, maybe? Is it streaming somewhere?
That's the thing that always gets me about Tarantino more than the movie knowledge is the minutia of old TV shows where he goes, oh yeah, we're talking about one episode of The Rifleman that I saw this guy in. And you're like, who remembers any Rifleman?
Again, my brother, who you now have met to some degree, is not quite on that level, but is very close.
Yeah.
And it's another thing where he'll go, well, from that episode of blah, 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 and it might be Mannix or something. And I'll go, if I saw it, I was 7. And it didn't leave too much of an impression on me. And
I heard Tarantino on a podcast tell a story about when Burt Reynolds was gonna be in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood before he died. he was asking him questions about specific episodes of Bonanza and stuff like that, and he's like, well, he just goes, yeah, you had a fight in that episode, man, and the guy who choreographed it was this. Well, what was it like working with him, Jeez, Quentin.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know the fuck you're talking about. I will say, though, kind of like the last one, pretty good cast. Once again, not just Michael Parks. I like a lot of these actors.
Yes. It's an interesting bunch. Are they given anything really to shine?
Oh, no. No, in fact, I think some of them are. I think Orlando Jones in particular is horribly wasted in this movie.
Yet I liked every bit he did.
Because being Orlando Jones, he brought something to a nothing role. Because he's always interesting to watch. I love that guy.
And I do too. But I think it's so hilarious that this world, by the way, for all the whatever mythology that Rodriguez came up with, they have not decided on how vampires work across all three movies.
All three movies
exactly
have.
Sure.
I mean, these. I was thinking the same thing, and also I feel like makeup is now at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, you're gonna hate this. This felt like a return to the first one, which I didn't.
Wow,
like.
see, I hated the second one's makeup. But this one I think is even worse. The second one's makeup has
kept it basic. Which
it kept it basic.
Mind.
It had no ambition. This one has ambition and is bad.
Oh man, Cobra thing coming out of the neck.
Yeah, well, that's a CGI effect, right? I couldn't.
Is it CG or a puppet?
I think it's a puppet and a CGI face is what I took it to be.
Oh, maybe.
Or like some kind of compositing or something,
There is nuts stuff, which is, again, why Act 3, as a vampire purist, I guess what I am, which is creepy to say, but as a vampire purist, I'm sitting there going, no. They do like in the From Dusk Till Dawn idea that you can get turned into a vampire immediately. In this movie, it's not only that you get turned into a vampire immediately, it's that you just have to get bitten, not even drained and killed to rise as a vampire.
Right.
Here it's like zombie. It's like, did you get bit?
I feel like
going to eventually turn into a vampire.
I feel like the vampire turns are getting faster with each movie. Each one of these, the vampire turns are quicker.
With Orlando Jones is like he gets bitten and then within a second or two, not only is he up as a vampire, but he then becomes kind of like the showman main
I thought the same thing. I'm like, okay, I get he's a vampire. Why is he now like a full-on supervillain? And like wow, and he's doing bits.
They are getting inhabited by demons when they turn into vampires. Because
that'd be an interesting idea if they, expressly made that clear.
They have entered him, and he's like, great, now I've got this body to walk around in.
That could have been a cool. That's a cool idea.
His lisp disappeared once he became a vampire.
Well, the lisp was an interesting choice anyway. That once again feels like a talented guy going like, "Can I do anything with this part? Can I just do a thing?"
Like seeing young Jordana Spiro in this. I liked her.
Oh man, I liked Jordana Spiro.
I didn't even know that was her because it took
me a second. Yeah.
Who's this woman, a young woman actress who's been dressed down and made to look ugly, but she's clearly not, but they've like done all the ugly stuff because she's the I want to be Billy the Kid outlaw. And then I'm like, oh my God, Jordana Spiro from Ozark. I think you're great.
Oh, Ozark's so fucking good.
And Rebecca Gayheart at her youngest, not youngest, but at her loveliest here.
Yeah.
She looks great. She's not much of an actress, never has been, but I like her still.
You talk about, her casting really leads to that like TV movie feel. She's very much always been a TV person to me.
She is a TV person.
And it's fine. Like I said, not, shit. Oh, I was like, where was she in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? She's the wife of Brad Pitt in the flashback where she got killed with the spear gun.
Yeah.
Of course.
Accidentally killed with a spear gun.
I read it that way. I don't like the book. I don't, because the book is insane. Sorry, Tarantino.
Wow.
I had particular. That's one of those scenes that like, dude, I
was this close to promoting our podcast, and then you had to go that hard.
But I just gonna say, just my quick thing about that is, I like that scene lets you as an audience decide. I don't like that he then wrote a book and tries to go, no, this is what happened. It's like, no. That was a really smart
creator. he has the right to tell you exactly
He
what was
does,
in his
and
head.
I, as an audience member, have the right to ignore that if I want.
Nice.
That's it exactly. It's the George Lucas thing again, where it's like, or J.K. Rowling too, right? Where you can add on to that
I
and go,
don't hear metachlorians. I just don't even hear the
yeah,
word.
what? I've never heard that word before in my life.
Nope.
Boy, talk about somebody who's having fun but really has nothing to do. Once again, Sonia Braga in this too.
Yep.
And Sonia Braga's breasts that are a co-star in this as well.
Oh, gee. Well, I'm not sure if they are. That I think some sort of latex they put on top of her
I don't
is.
know, but there is never not ample, even
Oh,
beyond
there's cleavage.
Oh
Yeah,
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 that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. It's just like an ever heaving bosom in every scene.
Ever heaving bosom.
Yeah. Which, I mean, look, I'm not complaining. She's a gorgeous woman, but
I am not familiar with Lenny Lofton, but I liked him.
Lenny Lofton. Oh
He's the
yeah.
one who.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's the Rebecca Gayhart's husband. Oh, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, he seems to be a James Mangold guy based on the fact that he's in a bunch of his movies.
Yeah, I'm looking at his IMDb
He's
too.
in 310 to Yuma and Logan and Night and Day.
But I thought his
Yeah.
character turn was fun, and I thought he did a really good job with it.
The guy who I think is pretty weak is the main guy. I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
he's bad, but he feels like discount leading man.
He's okay. I don't know how much digging into trivia you did on this. This was depressing. I had long known about Rebecca Gayhart's DUI in which she killed a young
Yeah.
boy,
Yep.
which did pretty much derail her career almost indefinitely. And it's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
But then I found in the trivia, it's like, oh, it was this guy's car she was driving.
Oh, I did not see that in the trivia.
Yeah, she was driving Johnny Madrid's
By the way,
car.
talking about old westerns, Johnny Madrid.
I liked the name. It was there's
Well, Johnny Madrid though is the main character of the television series Lancer.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
The 1960s television western Lancer, starring James Stacy.
And he played Johnny Madrid.
He was Johnny Madrid, and that is
So this is a knowing wink.
It has to be because the show that he's guest starring on in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the pilot of Lancer. Tim Oliphant is playing James Stacy, playing Johnny Madrid. So I'm sorry, a Tarantino produced thing saying Johnny Madrid, and then they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
I don't even know Lancer. I knew Johnny Madrid from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wow.
And then looked it up and confirmed. So yes. A one season western, by the way. That show lasted like 20 episodes, you know.
You could easily get that box set.
I did after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood go on YouTube and watch the actual pilot of Lancer.
Oh.
And I was shocked when Rick Dalton wasn't in it.
You're like, wait a minute.
He's not in here at all. And I will
Are you
say,
telling me he was a fictional character?
And I will
What?
I will say James Stacy wish he had the charisma of a Tim Oliphant.
Oh,
because I mean he was pretty stock TV leading man, and you're like, oh god, Oliphant is way better.
I'm all about Oliphant.
Love Oliphant. And speaking of an Oliphant co-star, fucking Boba Fett's in this movie too.
Boba Fett's in this movie, and I mean he has always had a great look. That's a great face. But I'm also sitting there going, you are so not convincing as a Mexican gentleman.
No, that's real shitty Hollywood racism going like, this guy's kind of darker skinned. Yeah, you're Mexican.
And he's got an accent.
Yeah, so
People
perfect.
will just assume that he comes from the New Zealandy part.
Oh man, I totally forgot he was Aben Sewer in that Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Ugh.
It's okay. He didn't have to say a lot. He just had to crash and die.
Yeah, that movie's not good.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hot take.
That's one of those where you're like, I guess he got redeemed from the DC universe because I did like him as Aquaman's dad.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, he's great in that. He's
good.
good.
Diamond Phillips.
He is
Mercy Reef.
he is He's good here, though. He is, once again, he's young and he's here to play.
And he looks great with a scar on his face, and he looks great in a Hangman's hood.
And in his Indiana Jones cosplay he wears for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. This is similar also to the first movie in that none of the heroes are very heroic. So in other words, it's another thing where at the end of the movie, just like the first one, people who hate each other, a lawman and outlaws, have to team up to fight things that are even worse than them.
This one really, unlike the second one, really is pretty beat for beat the first movie.
Oh yeah, definitely trying to follow.
Yeah. It almost because these came out the same year, so they had to be made in pretty quick succession, but they're made by different people. I get the sense that Dimension goes, we want 2 From Dusk Till Dawn sequels, and Rodriguez is like, well, I have an idea for one. I don't really care what you do with the other.
Yeah, that could be it. It's like, I got an idea for a prequel, but I don't know about a sequel. We'll hand that off.
We'll get somebody else on that, because I don't think Rodriguez obviously worked a lot on this, but he had some notes and some ideas, and it seems like the second one has nothing to do with anything.
Not really. It really doesn't.
So, so let's get into this movie. Well, let's talk about...
Do we have
We can touch on the poster, which once again is basically just the same poster, except now it's got a Western handgun.
Yep.
He's got his Peacemaker, and there are bats once again. Is this the same? This is just the titty twister again. I think it's just the same picture.
They didn't even try to change it around?
Now, this place is not called the Titty Twister, but did you see in the trivia what this place is called?
Well, they show it in the movie,
yes.
And I didn't look it up, but here, I'll tell you, then you correct me.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my limited Spanish,
yes,
which is extremely limited, I believe it translates to the devil's tit, or the tit of hell.
The devil's nipple, specifically.
The devil's nipple.
The devil's nipple is what it means, yes.
There you go, see?
Yeah. So, same idea, I guess.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the titty twister, which we're really on the inside. When they get in there, if I were a guy from 1912, 1913, whatever this is supposed to be.
Yeah, what year is this supposed to be?
It is supposed to be like 1910, 11, 12, because that's when Ambrose Bierce went missing.
Yeah,
that's when he disappeared.
Yeah, it starts because it starts with the little real history note.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe this is what happened to him.
The same plot, only without vampires, is the Old Gringo with that movie.
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah, that with why am I blanking?
Is that
Atticus Finch.
Oh, Gregory Peck. Yeah, Gregory Peck, of course.
He plays Ambrose
Bierce.
Oh,
and Smits is in that, and I do love Smits. This has come up
another
before.
Speculative what might have happened to Ambrose
but
Bierce.
But a much classier film.
Oh, yeah, not as many vampires. But
not no vampires, just no.
Yeah. It's all in subtext.
They snuck a couple. I think Jane Fonda might have been a vampire in that.
She might have been. But so that's clever. But if you had walked into a bar like that in 1912, you would have gone, how is it lit like this? There's that stage thing where they've got sort of like the flickering lights on it. It's like, well, that looks like almost.
Well,
it's like, no.
Also, it's another thing where it's like, guys, confronting of the supernatural. Like, there's absolutely no one in the bar, and then there's everyone in the bar, and nobody's weirded out by that at all.
Nope.
Like, this bar's abandoned. Wait, Danny Trejo, you're here because you have to be in all of these? You just have to be. He has to be.
But I kind of, in this one, did like, similar to the first one, that you get the impression that this particular vampire establishment, they can go undercover for a good long while.
Yeah.
And it seems like nights may actually pass there where they just make money and don't kill mass amounts of people.
Right.
But I thought they did a good job, the director and the actors, of it's the bloodlust that overcomes them. Once that fight turns really violent, all the vampires are like, shit, man, I can't even keep my cool. Because look at all that blood that's just laying around.
Yeah, and that's good. And once again, I mean, he's only in here a little bit, but I mean, I'm not complaining. Trejo is good and does have presence in the scenes he's in, sure.
And doesn't have his trademark mustache in this.
I know, because it's the past. It's to show that this was the past.
It's baby Razor Charlie.
This is the early days of Razor Charlie. And it's just, this is where this guy came from.
Yep.
A man who, they just want a quick count on his IMDb credits again, is at 413 acting credits.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Look, it keeps him off the streets. That's the important thing.
I wonder if that's the thing where he's just like, as long as I spend every day on a movie set, I'm not getting in trouble.
Yeah. I think he had a great turnaround in his life, and I'm sure he's grateful every day.
And I do love the guy. I'm never not happy to see him. All right.
Here.
So the movie starts with the thing about Ambrose Bierce disappeared in 1912.
He went down to Mexico to join up with Pancho Villa.
Mm-hmm. And then we open up on this this is where I feel like they're really trying to do Tarantino's, this big empty expanse of desert, or very Leone, which is Tarantino's influence as well. We're doing that. What's weird is this one being a Western, while it still has some spaghetti Western aspects, is not punching you in the face with the spaghetti Western influence as much.
Yeah.
And so he's in the desert, and there's all these people. There's a firing squad in front of him, and they all shoot, but it was just a dream.
Yeah. That's Ambrose Bierce. Michael Parks playing him. He's not only because of the mystery of what happened to him, he's a really iconic cynic.
Yeah.
And the Devil's Dictionary, which he famously wrote, is still quoted a lot today because it's just incredibly cynical, sarcastic, brilliant stuff.
And he will be like that through the whole movie.
Yes, he will. And they'll use some direct quotes from him. I'm like, oh, that's cute. They're using that. He did write the short story, An Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, which is what they're referring to with the whole, did he die in that moment? No. Or did he escape? No, he's actually about to die. But they do a flippity on that where he didn't actually die. He's still alive. So I like all that, and Michael Parks is having a lot of fun playing him. But here he is, he's drunk, he's in Mexico, he's hanging out, he's trying to get out of this little town. They're about to have a hanging.
About to have that hanging, man.
They're going to hang that Johnny Madrid.
I did think this was pretty cool. Once again, a little bit I'm going like, ooh, the script is a little bit better in its dialogue, because you do have Jordana Spiro in her sort of non-gender specific look here, where I guess they're trying
to make you think maybe this is a teenage boy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that plays so well.
But she's twirling Ambrose Bierce's gun and going like, this is a cool gun. And then he takes it away, and she goes, I just wanted a look at it. And he points at her and pulls back the hammer and goes, this close enough?
Yeah.
That's I mean, once again, for like a low-rent Western, not bad.
Not bad.
For like a pulp Western. So they're building up the gallows here, and everybody's gathering around, and Bierce is just kind of like, something going on over there, huh? All right.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just waiting on my stage. Waiting on
the stage. And you do get another thing where the guy is like, well, the stage is over there, and he goes, hey, if somebody comes looking for you, who should I say you are? He's like, my name is Ambrose Bierce, but nobody's gonna come looking.
Yep. And then they bring out the guy to be hung, Johnny Madrid, and we see that he's a young and handsome guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we also see a young woman in the audience of onlookers who actually, they kind of make you think that maybe she has already had a relationship with him, because she does look like, oh no, they're hanging my precious Johnny. Later on, we find out, no, she's just there because she's the hangman's daughter, the titular hangman's daughter.
The titular, yeah.
But she apparently is immediately taken with handsome Johnny. And they're about to hang him when and the hangman comes out, and he's full on. They didn't do this in the Old West, but he has a very fitted, very EC Comics hangman's hood on.
He really does, and he's really putting on a show for these people.
I will also say, I mean, look, I'm not expecting historical accuracy in From Dusk Till Dawn 3.
What?
But the hangman's job was to come out and hang a person, not torture them in front of people. And also, they're not in charge of the show. They're literally just the people who, put the gallows up and then pull the switch.
Yeah. But this guy.
But here he's doing a big thing.
We're in comic book Old West territory.
We are in
here,
comic
so
book
I'm
West.
okay
and
with
then
that.
He's like, oh, it's not just enough. We're gonna hang this dude. Now I'm gonna, his hands bound. I'm gonna whip him. I'm gonna whip him in front of the audience. Ooh, it's terrible.
And every time he's whipping him, he's doing it like, you guys like that, huh?
Yeah, you digging it? Oh, it is very much like a professional wrestler doing the, should I do more?
Yeah.
Are you enjoying this?
Oh my God, here comes the hangman with a metal folding chair out of nowhere.
It is weird. They didn't even invent metal folding chairs yet, but he has one.
In my life, I have never seen a beating like this.
Oh my God, suplex. Where did that 2x4 come from?
I know. What's this? Here comes Stone Cold Steve Austin out of nowhere.
Jim Duggan gets up on the scaffold and goes to town on him, and then Jake the Snake Roberts drops that big boa on top.
You can't believe it, man. It's crazy. I will say. So let's talk about and then there's this girl in the audience who's like, no, this is bad, and I gotta say, she did not make much of an impression on me. Our titular Hangman's daughter, Ara Selly.
Well, what I found out later is she took her first name and she made it her whole name. Because Araceli, or however you pronounce it, Aracelli, is a first name.
Aracelli Valdez is her birth name, I see here.
Yeah, so she split it. So she is very lovely. She's very cute, and she's had no career.
Well, you know what, though? As I look at this, I do remember her from something, which is the episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer she's in.
She was the Incan mummy girl.
Which is
and
not
she doesn't have a lot to say in that
That
either.
is not a good episode, and she's not particularly good in it.
Oh, now you're being harsh.
She's pretty dull. I mean,
Xander falls for her because she is a hot Incan.
She's very pretty, but she's pretty dull. And in this movie, she's kind of used in the same way in this as on Buffy, where it really is more about what she looks like and when they put her in the costume and stuff.
I will say she has a good face for the type of character they're trying to do, which is she is the sweet innocent until the very end. Spoiler alert.
Well, she's supposed to be young Salma Hayek.
Yeah. And again, it's not far off. Again, she's very attractive.
Similar type. I wouldn't say it's a 1-to-1, but I would say similar type.
I don't think she really ever left Texas much other than the brief LA go, because when you look her up now, which I did, I was like, I wonder what she's been doing. She lives in San Antonio and does like commercials for local auto things. And you're like, okay.
She does play an unnamed just reporter in Machete, though. So Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, I think Rodriguez is like, hey, you want to come do a thing? Sure.
And once again, that's just because we're in Texas once again.
Yep. Yeehaw.
I saw Machete. I saw both Machetes in the theater, of course. Because, you know the kind of stuff I watch. That should.
I've seen the first Machete. I haven't seen the second.
Machete
and I
Kills.
did not see it in the theater.
Saw both because.
All right.
You know me.
I know. But anyway, so basically, the Hangman then sees Esmeralda in the crowd.
This is nuts. Even by when he's just like, "Hey, that's my daughter. You fucking get up here, and I'll start whipping you."
Yeah, he basically says, "What are you doing out here? I told you to stay home." And she's like, I didn't. And then he's like, fine, get her up on the scaffold. And then he whips her in front of everybody. And Johnny Madrid sees that she already has scars from previous whippings.
I love Johnny Madrid, outlaw that they're about to hang. And even he's going, Jesus, man, that's your daughter.
That's your daughter. You beat the shit out of her.
The only other...
And so she is shamed, and she's about to, she's sad. And then they hang Johnny Madrid.
Literally as he's falling, a sniper's bullet severs the rope,
which was a plan apparently, because he also has. Oh, I did like this. This reminded me of one of my favorite, very low rung Batman villains. Oh shit, Black Tarantula. What's his name?
Oh yeah, isn't that right?
Maybe it's just Tarantula.
I think it is Black Tarantula.
He's the one that has the knife boot, the boot knives.
Yes. Yes.
And so Johnny Madrid, when he lands, the knives pop out of the front of his
Oh, it's
boots, and I'm
Black.
like,
It's just Black Spider.
oh, Black Spider?
Yeah.
Wait,
Black Tarantula is a Spider-Man villain.
that's who I was thinking of.
Yes.
Sorry, I got them mixed up. Black Spider is a Batman villain, does not have boot knives.
Right.
Sorry, everybody.
Right.
I'm going to be shamed for this.
I was
Spider-Man's villain, Tarantula, has boot knives, and that's what I was thinking. They are poison tipped, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, they go to the all three. Both of these people go to the same cobbler as Irma Bunt.
Yeah, that's right. It is sort of that. Only they have two. She only had the one.
Mm-hmm.
She only had the one.
If only, man, think about that. She could have maybe had a better shot at. No.
Well, come on, it's Bond. She had no chance because it's Bond.
Yeah, it's true.
One of the things that I really like about when you look up this movie, by the way, on Google, and don't go to IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
Google does a very lazy thing. There are two actors in this movie who have names similar to other famous people.
Yes.
And Google thinks that the Kevin Smith playing Joaquin in this movie is Kevin Smith.
I see this.
And they think that Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie played wedding dress vampire or wedding dress whore.
Wow, what a come down for Melissa Gilbert.
And it just is another woman named Melissa Gilbert.
Yes,
I found that very funny.
I have run into this kind of stuff before where you're like, that person. Oh, now Kevin Smith being in this seems possible.
I actually did think
because
maybe they just got the character's
he's a
name
buddy
wrong.
of Rodriguez and Tarantino.
Yeah, so I looked throughout the movie for like a cameo or something. Like, no.
What is this? What Silent Bob is just there at the bar?
Silent Joaquin. But anyway,
no, it's just some other guy. It's not.
So Johnny Madrid has survived.
Johnny Madrid
on a horse. He does take Esmeralda with him.
Well, there's this whole escape. The only thing I want to point out in here is, for no reason, one of these random townfolk who's trying to stop him just gets his guts cut open, and you see his intestines spill out. And I just thought, well, it's just like, we just need some gore in here.
Did you have a problem with that? Because I was like, yes.
No, of course not.
There's a couple of like head slice in the middle things that the effects people went all to town on.
There's some pretty decent gore in this, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have some problems with the monster makeup, but I think the gore effects are mostly pretty decent.
Yeah. Again, the two heads that get lopped are pretty nicely done.
Not bad, yeah. So they get out of there, and as this is going on, like this is happening, Parks is in the stagecoach, on his way to the stagecoach. He's just like, yeah, whatever, let's just go. And he's very world weary. That's a more of this shit
character.
Yeah.
And on the stage, he meets. Well, first they do a thing where there's a lot of unnecessary stuff, like the two stagecoach drivers.
Yeah, I thought these guys were going to be. I thought this was kind of interesting, and they're dead.
They introduce them, and they're like, "That one is mute. He can't speak."
Yeah.
But I'm the driver. I speak for him, but I can't see because I'm blind, so he's my eyes. And you're like, that's pretty clever. That'll be something. Nope, they just get killed later.
They'll both get killed. And one of them, I mean, the mute guy gets his head taken off with a shotgun, and it is gruesome. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, but one of the only times I went, ooh, in this movie, that's good.
Yeah, that is actually impressive for something this low budget. But so the other two people on the coach are a married couple. They are conservative Christian Bible
thumpers is what I called them, of course.
Right, they're not salespeople, but they're bringing a shipment of Bibles
they're
kind
of missionaries, aren't they? I mean, sort of thing.
They're missionary, yes.
Yeah.
And she comes from a wealthy family. That's all set up. And Ambrose Bierce, of course, being a cynic, is like, yeah, and he didn't just marry you. And I gotta say, Ambrose, do you have eyes? Because, like, okay, you're being cynical. He didn't just marry you because you have money. Look at her.
Yeah.
If she were absolutely broke, he still would have married her because she is gorgeous.
Right, and
she's distractingly modern world gorgeous.
Well, I will say that is kind of the thing about Rebecca Gayheart is, I mean, and some of that is just coming from having seen her in this era, but she is a very 90s idea of a hot lady.
Yeah. Now they don't try to dress her up in an unrealistic way. They have her being unmakeuped and she's in the clothes of the period. So at least they did that and didn't try to make you go.
She's coming off of her 90210 run here.
Sure. And this is pre-Scream, whichever Scream she was in.
This is just after Scream 2.
Urban Legends, is that the one that she segued
Scream
into?
2, Urban Legends, and then you remember Jawbreaker?
I remember the name. I don't think I ever saw it.
That was her and Rose McGowan and Julie Benz, and it's sort of a Heathers kind of movie.
Oh, yes. Mean Girls-ish.
Mean Girls-ish, but with some murder in it.
Funny.
Yeah. And that was the same year as this was Jawbreaker. So she's on an ascent here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much her career was derailed. I mean, she kept working at the very least through all of the legal stuff.
Well, yeah, I think it did hurt. It's just a thing where that's something you don't bounce back from. I mean, even Matthew Broderick's career took a nice little hiatus after he killed 2 people.
Sure. You're right. Dead Like Me. I remember her on that.
Dead Like Me?
Yeah, the show about the Reapers.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it.
I was a fan. I'm a big.
I did watch Reaper. I liked that one.
Reaper was fun too. Yeah. Anyway,
that was a delightful show.
Oh God, she's in some Christmas themed horror movie called Santa's Sleigh.
Perfect.
Oh boy, there's an action shelf movie. All right. So
anyway, they're very proper. They seem to be very proper.
They're so excited about taking these Bibles, and of course, Michael Parks is going to tell them the Bible's a whole bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. One of the direct quotes, which of course isn't Ambrose Bierce's quote, is like, the main problem I have with the good book is there's too much room between the 2 covers,
which is pretty fucking savage.
It's great. But anyway, so he's like, it's all bullshit. And they're like, I suppose you're an atheist. He goes, yep, absolutely.
You got it.
And yeah, that's the whole thing. So anyway, they're having.
And he's cooler about it than she is. Rebecca Harris is like, how dare you? And he's like, oh, no. He's entitled to his wrong beliefs, you know.
Yeah, honey, don't worry too much about him.
Yeah. Lenny Lofton, folks. The great Lenny Lofton.
I was worried that would just be his character. I liked the turn where he's not that guy anymore. That was fun.
Yeah.
But so they're just in the coach, and then
we're cutting back and forth between the coach and Johnny Madrid meeting back up with his gang with our Hangman's daughter Esmeralda.
Yeah, and also with Reese, who we find out, oh my God, that young gentleman was a girl under that hat.
My God.
And it turns out she is following Johnny, even though she wasn't part of his gang, and she helped the escape. But the reason was because I want to be like you. I want to be an outlaw legend. And he's like, well, you're not welcome. And she's like, I can handle myself. He goes, okay, you want to be a legend? I'm probably jumping things, but essentially,
whatever.
Essentially,
you're like, about on point with it, you know.
I guess the only respect I have for them diverting tropes is, even though Esmeralda's with them, Johnny makes it pretty clear that even though he thinks she's really hot, he's like, I don't want you around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't invite you along. And she's like, I can't go back there. He's going to kill me. And he's like, tough, but he wears her down, or she wears him down, because he just can't get over the fact that she's going to grow up to be Salma Hayek. So he's like, all right, you can stick with us. But Reese annoys him, I guess, enough to the point where he goes, all right, here's your first lesson in becoming a legend, a cowboy legend. And they stop off at a cemetery, and he goes, you got to conquer your fear of death.
No. You're skipping, because the reason she's allowed to stay is because she goes, I know a guy who's got money for Santa Anna.
Oh, right.
Or not, yes. Santa Anna,
not
Pancho
Santa
Villa.
Anna, that's
Pancho
Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pancho Villa. and so she takes them, and because she had heard
That's right.
Ambrose Bierce talking that,
Right.
and that
Okay,
leads them
yes.
to this.
Right. They haven't gotten to that point with Reese yet.
No,
right.
because they'll do that to her after they don't get any money from Ambrose Bierce.
That's it.
There you go. In this complex, twisty plot. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I envy anyone discovering this for the first time,
and
because they're in for quite a
She's
trip.
the one who shot the rope, though, she says?
Yeah.
Well, that's weird, because wasn't that part of the plan?
I don't know.
But then she's not part of the gang.
She's not part of the gang yet. And so that's her thing, is like, not only did I help you escape, but I can also lead you, that's right, to this guy who says he's got a bunch of
and so they're going to go rob the stagecoach because it's a Western, and that's what we need to have happen. By the way, Jordana Spira also in an episode of Buffy right before this from the same season, the episode Reptile Boy, if anyone remembers that one.
Oh, was that the one where the swim team all become kind of...
No, this is the one where they've got the reptile guy in the basement that they're sacrificing people to.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's
she's in that. She's in that episode, Jordana Spira. But this is very
I'm glad
early.
She stuck around. Yeah, this is very early. Because I mean, not that she's a huge name. It's just that every time I've seen her, she's really solid, and
she's a
she
good actor.
rules on Ozark.
Great on Ozark, yeah. And she did an episode of Evil the other season, which is also great.
Oh boy, I like that show.
Oh, we like Evil. If you want way better horror stuff than most of the stuff we talk about, go watch Evil. Evil's so good. Yeah, so
and more fun than you'd expect. That's what
way
really
more
blew me
fun.
away.
Legitimately one of the funniest shows, I think. Like,
Yep.
I laugh a lot at that show. All right, so they ride out and to take the thing, and they end up just, of course, because they're not good at their job. Actually, they end up just shooting this stagecoach up to hell.
Yep.
I thought the blind guy was going to be cool because they have him, without looking, like firing and hitting people. And I go, oh, I kind of like, oh no, he's dead. Never mind.
Yeah, no, it's unceremonious. There's absolutely nothing to it. They haul the people out. Christian lady convinces her husband not to do anything. Like, you'll get yourself killed. So he hangs back. Ambrose Bierce puts up a little bit of a fight.
Well, because they try to steal his flask, so he kicks a guy in the balls.
Yes.
It won't be the biggest ball joke in the movie.
No.
Boy, that's a real low point in this thing.
Yeah. But anyway, so they open his bags because he's the guy who's got the stuff, and it's just more booze and also sheets of manuscript. So probably a book he had been writing or something.
There's a lot of that kind of. I mean, the gang has a real like, what?
Where's the gold? We don't have any gold. Well, goddamn! And then they open up the crates that have the Bibles. The gag is later on, if they had opened those Bibles, they would have found money, but they didn't. Here, they're just like, what?
Oh, these dum-dums.
So they are angry.
Very angry. And they're angry at Jordana Spira because they said, you said there was gold. And she's like, no, I said it could have gold.
Yeah, I just knew he was bringing something valuable to Pancho Villa. And they're like, we don't like you anymore. And it has nothing to do with your gender identification.
They make that clear. They are. Look, we're woke as hell as far as old time outlaw gangs go.
You want to be a fella? You want to be a lady?
Yeah.
You want to be undecided? That's up to you.
Look, anybody who joins our group, we ask, what are your pronouns? All right, we respect that. Okay.
Just ask they them over there.
Yeah, they them. Yeah, that's cool. They're one of our favorites. We love them.
We love they them.
Yeah, don't go spreading around that's what this is about, because that's not what this is about.
Do not misrepresent us.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to see the movie about the gender fluid, real early woke outlaw gang.
The thing is, I'm afraid to say that more than likely there is a Funny or Die skit that's exactly what we're doing right now.
If there's not, there should be, because that
a Western movie where they keep checking each other's pronouns.
Yeah,
it's just what they're gonna do.
Do I have your consent to steal that money from you? That kind of stuff. Yeah. So there you go. Well, you want to learn about what it is to be alone? And now it's the scene you were talking about where they take her out to the cemetery.
Yes.
And this is what it's going to be like. And also, I'm sorry.
Johnny Madrid is a tough-ass bastard because he hangs her, and you think, oh, he's just testing her for a bit. And then he's like, let's go, boys.
Yeah. They go step on up there, put your head in that noose, which I'm like, come on, lady.
Yeah. Come on, Reese.
Yeah.
And then they just leave her. And Esmeralda's like, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, they put her in the new, and then they shoot the thing she's standing on out from under her, which I thought, Jesus Christ, they just killed this character? That's a little...
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I was like, that's pretty brutal. But it doesn't matter, because later she'll be discovered by the Hangman and his gang, and she's apparently hanging on to life somehow.
Yeah, that made no sense to me. I don't understand how she survives this.
Maybe they were literally a minute and a half behind.
Because because we've got Boba Fett and his posse.
I wish it was Boba Fett. Instead, it's just the Hangman, whatever his name's supposed to be. So Ambrose Bierce and the couple do they just walk till they find the place?
Yes.
Do they get a ride?
No. We see them wandering through the desert. We get these kind of shots of them, and they eventually come on this place, and that's where.
John, will you promise me that every shot that's outside is unnaturally tinted?
Oh yeah, I mean you've got to. Otherwise, how do I know it's a Western?
Exactly.
Yeah, it really is. Like they're really worried people aren't gonna. Do you guys get this? And then. Later in the movie, though, they go even harder at monochrome sepia tone. In one of the weirdest scenes in anything we've watched.
Yes, but you know that's the director's favorite scene. There's times when you're watching a movie and you're like going, the director thinks this is the one he will be remembered for forever.
And it's always the out-of-place artsy scene that you're like, somebody should have cut this.
Yeah. However, here's the thing I will say. Orlando Jones is a pretty lucky man in this cast because he gets to sort of make out with all the ladies, lick tongues with Sonia Braga, do a dance scene. I'm like,
the ladies.
Way to go, buddy. He's
like, well, I'll take this job.
Yeah, he's like, how much is it? You know what? I don't even care.
Yeah. This is also very early for him too.
Is it?
It's pretty early. He hasn't done a lot of the stuff he's known for.
Okay.
I think he's coming off of Mad TV at this point.
Is Office Space after this? I mean, I know he doesn't have a huge part in it, but
I feel like that's right. Got to be like maybe the same year. Let's see here. Office Space.
Where he's the magazine salesman with the pitch of, hello, please help.
God damn, he is so funny in that. Yes, that is the same year as this. So,
that's a good year for this man.
It is a good year. And then I feel like he kind of takes off from here and gets some shots at
By the way, he was so good as a Nancy in American Gods, and I still can't believe them canning him.
Yeah, and he was one of the writers, too.
He nailed that.
But he's like, oh, yeah, I don't see that there's anything. Anyway, he's very good on Abbott Elementary now, too.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still working a lot. He was also on Winning Time, which he's great. I always love to see that guy.
Me too.
And who could forget Drumline with him and Nick Cannon? That's all I'm saying. No. He was the drumming coach in that movie.
I'm not exactly sure if we are related, but anytime I see a Jones, I'm willing to claim him as a cousin.
It's me, your cousin, probably.
He's from Alabama, and I'm from Mississippi, right next door to each other, so it's quite possible he's part of the family.
There you go.
Yeah.
You should reach out.
I will.
He'd love that, I'm sure.
I'm sure he would.
Hey, random person, I think we may be on some level related. Okay?
Jones is such a rare last name. I had to seek you out.
Yeah. Finally, another Jones. So anyway, yeah, they're wandering through the desert.
But luckily, they find the devil's nipple.
The devil's nipple, which he lies about and goes. They're like, "What does that say?" And he's like, "It says, 'Welcome, weary travelers,' or whatever."
Yeah,
right?
it's the two the married couple say, do you speak Spanish? Do you know what that is? And Ambrose Bierce, because you just said you.
Yeah.
The people listening don't know who you is.
No.
But yes, Ambrose Bierce says, oh, it is a respite from the heat, or heaven, a shaded haven, or whatever. And you're like, ha ha, that's hilarious, because that's not what it means at all.
Oh, what a scamp.
And they go in there, and luckily, they got a Trejo.
Well, there's nobody in there. It's totally empty. They're like, oh, man, hey, what the hell? All of a sudden, Trejo's here.
Oh, whoa, huh?
And the bit here is, of course, they go, can we get a drink? We want milk, because we're innocent Christian folk.
Yes. and they also go, oh, but we don't have any money. And, oh, wait, no, that's not them. That's when Orlando Jones shows up. He is a salesman who gets a drink and then says, I have no money.
Yeah. They get that. They get the.
Oh, they don't have milk, but it's pretty funny. The way
I think we've got some bubbly water in the back.
Yeah,
That's
he goes. Yeah, we have Celsi water. Do you know that? And
Celsi the one water
with the bubbles, and they're like, sure, we'll drink that.
Once again, not great dialogue, but Trejo's selling it.
Yeah, I want to hear Trejo say salty water.
And then, of course, when they drink it, it's disgusting.
Yeah, because it probably hasn't been touched in ever. But Ambrose Bierce gets his booze, and he's happy just to sit down at a table and enjoy the ambiance.
He goes, 2 bottles of your finest whiskey, please. Which I'm like, that's a lot. This man is looking to die right now. Holy shit. That's a lot.
And similar to everyone that's ever gone to this particular establishment, it gradually gets naughtier and naughtier.
Oh,
because
yeah.
then there's like sexy waitresses and prostitutes, and then there's dancers, there's fire eaters. It's like every time we cut back to it, it's more of a, some sort of weird alternative burlesque thing you would have seen in like the early 2000s. Like, oh, okay, great. Yeah. Where's the guy who attaches the brick to his dick? Oh, great. Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, the hilarity that ensues.
It's the Jim Rose Circus or whatever that thing was
This is the thing that got me about this, though, once again, is it's like Trejo appears. Okay, that's weird. Then all of a sudden there's just a bunch of people in here.
Well, I think it is supposed to be almost as if they're locals. Like, and night has fallen, so they start showing up.
I think it's the way it's cut, though, is I think what confused me.
Yeah.
It's like they appear, and I go, what is this, like a ghost thing now?
Plus, I think it's hilarious when the married couple are like, we need a room for the night. And they're like, sure. And Sonia Braga shows up in a very theatrical way because she's the grande dame.
Everything Sonia Braga does in this is theatrical. And like I said, that's great. She's
having fun.
She's having fun. She's way better than this.
Yeah, she is the queen of the place. She is the queen vampire. Yeah. What's her name?
Let's see here.
It should be right. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Kielta?
I don't think. I think it's like
Kietla?
Probably
Quitla?
Something.
I'm pronouncing it like the Q as like Quixote. So I'm going like
sure.
Kietla? That's my best guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
Anyway, Sonia Braga
like,
is slumming it hard in this movie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. And she's like, yeah, I'll get your room. And they follow her. And we've never been in the back of this place in the previous movies. Now
Holy shit, back. I know. But we're filling in stuff.
And
I can't believe it. We're seeing the back. Yeah.
Ridiculously long corridors full of what looks like Arabian Nights rooms where there are no doors, but just like translucent sheets hung up.
And this is just required.
And you just hear people fucking
this is always the thing with these movies. You always got to have just like flashes of sex and nudity about. It's just around in these movies.
It's just to sell the decadence of this place, and clearly it's a brothel.
And to earn that nudity rating, so people will rent it.
Oh yeah. And Rebecca Gayheart and her husband are both like, "Oh dear,
dear Lord, I never."
Except for the husband is kind of like, "Yeah, this is kind of working for me." So then they get their own room. Which
I just had an erection for the first time in my life.
Yeah, and then he tries to get frisky with his wife, and she's like, no, this isn't the place or time. And he goes, we've been married a week, and I still don't know what you look like under that dress. And she's like,
do you think
well,
that'll
it's
set
not
up a
because I don't
line
want to.
later for when she's a vampire? Spoilers.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will, John.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, honey. I do love you. It's not. And he's like, all right, whatever. Let's go to sleep.
I married
I'm
a
going
90s
downstairs to get some water.
I married a futuristic looking hottie by our standards, and I still can't get none.
Apparently that's the case.
Yeah.
But so he makes an excuse. I got to go get some water. And the excuse is so he can walk back down the hallway, look in more rooms, get even more aroused.
Num, 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 num.
Exactly. And then he gets to the bar, and now he's like, fuck it, man. Give me alcohol. Before.
Hang on. I believe Sonia Braga seduces him first, then yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because he gets she catches him peeking in, and she goes, "Is there something we can do for you?"
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "Daddy, like."
Yeah.
Oh, also,
which is a dialogue that did not belong in 1913.
I thought it was a little odd. I also forgot in my notes here. I see when he's trying to have sex with Rebecca Gayheart, a bat just randomly flies into their room.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, now I really don't want to have sex."
And this is still better than other movies we've seen, but this is a CG bat, and
I feel
Rebecca Gayheart is called upon.
I wish we had thought of this and kept a ranking of the best fake bats we've seen, best and worst fake. We should have done that. Yeah,
she's kind of waving at the air reminded me a lot of Birdemic. It
definitely has like a sci-fi channel.
That bad,
no, but it's like sci-fi channel kind of stuff.
There's a thing in the sky, and I'm batting it away, and I'm making no physical contact with anything.
She's doing her best in this movie.
Sure.
Everybody. I will say that is nice. I think that was true about the last movie for the most part too. Like everybody here is taking it seriously.
Well, they're not taking it seriously.
They're taking it. But they're playing to the tone of what the movie's trying to do.
They are playing to
because the whole movie isn't taking it seriously.
Fun, not full camp, but they're aware of this is heightened
pulpy,
comic book nonsense,
grindhouse kind of stuff. And that's fine.
Yeah, I would feel embarrassed if any of them were taking it seriously.
This is where I'm going for my Oscar. Yeah. Can you get an Oscar?
Sonia Braga at this point is like, I've already done Kiss of the Spider Woman, and I've done what's her name? Donna Floor and Her Two Husbands. Is that it? Her career was well established, so
she's very well known at this point.
Yeah, so she's not too worried about showing up and dancing around in this
the Milagro
Beanfield War.
Good movie. Mm-hmm. She's great. And I feel like she's in sort of a weird place where maybe not a weird place, but her career's in like a little bit of a stall, and then she's in that phase a lot of
she's
middle-aged,
transitioning between middle-aged and then the older character role.
Right, which is where she is now, and like she was great on Luke Cage and stuff like that.
She was great on Luke Cage.
Yeah, and now she's playing like Jennifer Lopez's mother in rom-coms.
Speaking of which, Luke Cage, is also where you'll see Mike Coulter from Evil, which we were already talking about.
And there's
Mike Coulter is great.
Yeah, there's almost no one
to return as Luke Cage.
I want to return as Luke Cage and also just keep being in anything because the guy's amazing.
He is.
That guy's a movie star, man. That guy is a movie star. That's all I know.
I would watch, and it's streaming now, so I might watch that movie just to see him.
There you go. All right, so now we've got drunken Christian husband. Oh no! Before we see that, Johnny Madrid goes outside and he hears some nom 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 nom, and he's like, "What the hell? What the hell is that?"
Madrid and his men showed up at this place as well, and when he goes out the bar and goes to check on the horses, the guy that took their horses is feeding off of them.
Nom 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 nom.
He's a vampire.
Except for, I do love this for the nothing from the horse, obviously.
No, just kind of standing there.
So I just like, because it's like.
So I will say that's very much like a vampire bat. Vampire bats, which are from South America and Mexico, horses and cows that they feed on.
Yeah,
they don't even really know they're there because
it's true.
They take so little and they barely flake a little bit of the flesh,
I
they don't even know they've been bitten.
I would agree with that if there wasn't tons of blood all over this guy's face and he's
Yes.
chowing into this thing. That's
And
what
it is a human-sized person who's definitely not.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't need anything, but how about something more than just the horse is just there doing nothing?
doing not a darn thing.
Yeah,
Except waiting for them to hose off the corn syrup that they've put on his side.
Yes. Great. So let's see. All right.
The Johnny Madrid stuff.
Yeah.
Literally, I couldn't tell you. They show. I mean, every time they cut to them, it was just sort of the same stuff over and over again, and they weren't as interesting characters as Ambrose Bierce or Orlando Jones or even Rebecca Gayheart and her husband.
It's true.
So it's just a group of the outlaws come in.
Well, he's the outlaw guy in the role of the George Clooney character, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But oh my God, no.
He is sort of being protective of Esmeralda, but his men are like, it's a brothel. So they go and they start getting bedded down. When drunk husband guy comes down to the bar after having been seduced, and he's like, he's not drunk yet. He's like, I want booze now because I am a hypocrite and I like booze. He hears the ridiculous laugh that he recognizes from Joaquin,
Yes.
one of the gang members. So he knows that the people who held up their stage are in the bar, and now he's going to get his drunken revenge. And he basically picks a fight with this gang dude.
Well, this is fake Tarantino dialogue that is not bad though, which is the thing where they go, where he's like, hey, what's your bar's policy about fights? And Trejo goes like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And
like, whatever.
And then he starts fighting this guy, and he goes, what else do I owe you? And Trejo's like, how about a broken jaw right here on this bar? Yeah.
So surprisingly, the Christian husband is a badass fighter who's been hiding his inner violence and lust, and he wipes the floor with this dude. The gang member, the outlaw, is like, oh, don't stop kicking me, whatever. And he does. He pulls the guy up, throws him on the bar counter, and starts bleeding. And then he's got blood all over the bar. And then what one of the other outlaw guys grabs somebody and says, don't do it or I'll fuck this person up. Is it the wife? Rebecca Gayheart?
No, I don't think she's come in yet.
No, but he grabs somebody. He's like, you hurt him anymore, and I'll fuck this person up.
Oh no, no, sorry, it is Rebecca Gayheart comes in going like, where did you go? You're right, it is her.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is kind of badass because it's like you would expect him to go, okay, but instead he's like, sure. But he's got this big Bowie knife in his hand, and then he just pins the outlaw's
Yeah, holy
face.
shit! He stabs him through his open mouth and out the back of his head. To
pins
the bar.
him to the
Jesus
fucking bar,
Christ.
And then throws a bottle or some piece of wood right at the guy, knocking him out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, good Lord, dude. He didn't even fucking care. He's like, yeah, you're not gonna mess with my wife. So he does that, but here's where it all comes out, because there's so much blood around, and we've seen the vampires watching this fight licking their lips going, oh damn.
Yeah,
there's blood.
There's now blood pooling. It's not, once again, imagery not bad, like the blood pooling on the bar and them cutting to like everybody going, that looks good.
Yeah, and a couple of the
good.
vampire prostitutes come over and lick some of it up, and Trejo dips his finger in and licks it. And then basically they vamp out, and now, wait, we haven't introduced Orlando Jones yet.
Oh, he came in before any of this happened. He came in and started drinking with Michael
Ambrose
Parks.
Bierce.
Yeah. And he like, knows his work. He knows his writing.
Yeah, and he goes, oh, you've read my work. He goes, yeah, you wrote that story about the man on the bridge is about to be hung, and then he escapes, goes home, and he gets all comfy, and then he wakes up, and there's all the dream, and that's
that
when
was, that was crazy, man.
That was crazy. He's got a lisp. He's a brush salesman.
Yeah, because I like where he's like, Trejo's like, do you have money for this? He's like, well, I don't have any cash on me, but how about you take a look at this brush?
Yes. And Trey was like, "Man, you motherfucker!" And Ambrose Bierce basically was like, "I'll pay for his drink. Don't worry about it." Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, whatever, man.
But anyway, so when the vampire action breaks out, Orlando Jones has been pretty damn quick. I mean, literally, it's just a free for all, as the other movie did. And I can't remember the succession in which we do see the prostitutes that aren't even in the bar chomp down on the outlaws that are in the brothel part.
Right.
So who's left that's not a vampire at this point? It's the Christian husband.
It's the Christian
Rebecca Gayheart.
Well, he abandons her because that's sort of the thing. He runs away in fright because Orlando Jones is a vampire now, and that's where we're going to get our weird vampire seduction / monochrome dance scene.
Oh my god. Yeah,
he
and Ambrose Bierce are still okay, and Johnny is okay. Johnny Madrid. Esmeralda is still okay. But there's also all these references because when Sonia Braga met Esmeralda, she's like, "Oh, beautiful child." And she goes, "Whose tears have never touched her mother's breast."
Oh,
and all this, like, all these weird cryptic remarks, and you immediately go, "Oh, I get it." So she's the daughter of her, and that was the Hangman,
and Boba Fett, who had come in. When he comes in with his posse, they have a whole thing where it's like, it's you again, and like, you bitch and whatnot. And
yeah, and they're also after Madrid. It's like, I'm getting Esmeralda back to punish her, and also after Madrid. So they come in, and they've got Reese with them because Reese had survived the hanging. And so Reese is there like, "I'm going to get this guy thing." And you're like, okay, great. And they walk in as vampires are breaking out, and it's like, oh shit. So now they're good guys of a sort, and they're all kind of fighting vampires.
Well, they want to do this thing that's kind of it's not that dissimilar to the first movie, but sort of this thing where it's like there's all these sort of factions that are loosely connected to each other that all combine here in the Devil's Nipple.
Yes.
But this is where I don't think the movie's terrible and it all makes reasonable amounts of sense, but it's all kind of convoluted and jumbled and very convenient. There's a lot of like, why is this person here now at the same time as this person?
Exactly.
But it's all part of a plan too,
You could say that obviously the locals at that town knew of this bar. They just don't know anything about the vampires there, except for the Hangman, who does know because he had an affair with Sonia Braga years before. The daughter, we find this out. I'm just going to say it now. We find it out later in an exposition dump. But essentially, Esmeralda is the daughter of a human, the Hangman, and the vampire queen. And somehow...
And where
this is bullshit.
Yeah, how did that happen, by the way?
Who knows? But it's also because when by the way, when he shows up, the Hangman, Boba Fett, when he walks in, Sonia Braga's like, "It's been a while, guy I used to fuck."
Yeah, I also thought it was weird that they somehow already called it going Boba Fett.
It was really, really weird.
He was already there.
And then Fenric Shan showed up, and he's like, "What? I don't even."
Oh, geez, this movie could have used some Ming Na for sure.
I'm telling you. But so anyway, the thing is, the Hangman stole his infant daughter away because he found out that as long as she's not at this place, she'll be normal, human, and not a vampire.
Right.
So he raised her, Esmeralda, and apparently he beat her constantly and also tried to kill her as a child.
Because somebody says that, they go, "Why did, if you knew she was the vampire princess, why didn't you just kill her?" He goes, "Oh, I tried like a bunch.
I tried, but she kept coming back."
It was crazy. It was crazy, actually, man.
I wouldn't mind seeing, because that sounds creepy as fuck.
I actually think the movie would have been interesting if you rolled it back and he's just got this vampire princess daughter and it is about that rather than.
But it looks like she's an innocent, and you're like, how could this cruel monster be doing this?
That's the thing. Are we supposed to then think like, oh wait, he's a good guy actually? Because he's still torturing her, you know what I mean? Like,
but he's trying to keep the evil out of her or some shit, whatever.
That could have been a more interesting movie if it was just about that. Instead, it's one subplot amongst all this stuff.
So essentially, Esmeralda is what the vampires have been waiting for. She's essentially a chosen one type here, and they're like, "Yay, we've got her." But Johnny Madrid's like, "No, you can't have her." They fight, and vampires are attacking, which forces the outlaws that are still human to team up with the posse and with Ambrose Bierce and the Christian hubby. And the Christian hubby is shamed because he left Rebecca Gayheart behind. Rebecca Gayheart is seduced by Orlando Jones' vampire.
In the weirdest scene in the whole movie.
Suddenly he grabs her, and instead of just like, I'm going to chomp down on you, it's kind of this hypnotic thing. Then the screen goes black and white, and they do a fucking waltz dance number.
Very weird. You know what could have... I don't know that this would have made this work, but what if we see this, and then it just cuts back to reality, and he's just chomping into her throat, but she's like in a thing, like that's what she's seen in her head. I mean, that would have been
good, but
that would have been something.
Here's another one. What if Rick Jones had received the gamma blast instead of Bruce Banner?
What if?
And had been the Hulk?
What if?
Instead?
What if, man? So many what ifs to ask.
What if Peter Parker had been injected with the super soldier serum and was Captain America?
Yeah. Well, could have been something, man. I'd like to see those stories.
Anyway, no, I mean, that's all fine.
I don't know. I mean, it's just something. Otherwise, this is just long. And
here's the thing about this part. We finally gotten to the part of the movie that actually I found entertaining, but I can't tell you anything that happens. It just becomes chaotic.
It does. Well, the other thing is it really replays the end of the first movie, but with less money.
With less money and also confusing rules because
no
one's getting staked here. Gun blasts seem to actually affect the vampires.
Well, because Vampire Rebecca Gayheart is they much like the first movie, they get in the back of this place, throw down a gate, and Vampire Rebecca Gayheart is like, "Honey, how could you?" How could you? Well, because this is like, and we've seen this a million times.
This is like Salem's Lot. It's like, honey, you left me behind. I just want to be with you. And he's like, I'm sorry, honey. And then she's like, ha ha, you're a hypocrite. I'm a vampire now.
And of course, does
my face has sexy makeup on?
Don't you want to see? I thought you wanted to see what's under this. And
under
then
this dress.
He stabs her. She turns into green fire, and then falls down as a skeleton.
Oh, you skipped the weirdest part, my friend.
Did I? Maybe
she goes, don't you want to see what's under the dress? And she full on ejects tentacles.
Oh, God, of course. I can't believe I forget this.
There's never been a vampire film that has this as a power.
And no other vampire in the movie does it.
Well, we do have the weirdness, which is similar to the first movie, which did have someone get their head chopped off, and then a whole other vampire thing comes out from the chopped off head.
Yeah.
This one, in the fight in the bar, one of the vampires gets the head chopped off, and then a cobra head comes out of the severed neck and taunts the dude before that gets burned or whatever the fuck. Whatever.
Whatever.
But anyway, we've got Rebecca Gayheart, who is not showing us what's under the dress, but these tentacles come out. And they attack.
Well, I guess technically that is under the dress.
Okay, sure. They come out from her midsection, almost and they're like Doc Ock tentacles.
I wrote them down as demonic intestines.
Sure, but I think they have they have teeth, mouth, like
that was the demonic part.
All right, snake heads, but they're coming out of her midsection and they're fleshy. And again, if that's a vampire attack, then you're like, well, that's not so good because it's dumb. It's a distance attack, but all it takes is Johnny Madrid just goes chop, and then she goes ow.
Mm-hmm.
He just slices through him, and she's like, "Damn, that was my big thing."
Well,
and then they set her on fire, and she goes up and fire.
No, they don't set her on fire. He just stabs her, and she turns into fire.
He stabs her, and then
it's that thing about if they had set her on fire, I think that actually would have made more sense.
Well, some of the vampires are like at one point someone with a torch, I think, lights up 3 of the prostitute vampires with one torch, and they go up so easy that I keep going like, vampires are very easy to kill in this world. There's like the cross thing, which was so important in the one we just saw, and was slightly important in the first one where they cross they don't use crosses at all in this, even when the guy holds up his Bible And that's when the money falls out. That's why she says you're a hypocrite. They find out that the Christian husband was in fact a con man who did marry her for her family's money and had basically stolen all of that money and hidden it in the Bibles they were going to be taking to that little town.
Right.
He is a sinner. And
yeah,
that's what she calls him.
And
this
is all,
while
once
she's
again,
him.
back to convoluted, needless why. Like, why?
Needless? Why? Oh, no. This makes the movie.
This just
it at least gives it something other than, vampires fight them.
Going on. Like, it's just, that's the thing where it's like, especially for a movie that I think without credits clocks in at like 85 minutes. Like, you just, there's too much going. I'll say that actually in some ways, the last movie was more like streamlined. Weirdly,
I found the last one to be much more boring than this.
Oh, it's more boring, but I'm saying like in some ways, this is less boring but more convoluted.
Sure.
You know I mean, like there's tons of stuff, but it's all like, what?
Well, there's a lot of that. What we were saying is that there's not really enough story to go around in that second one. So that makes it feel, I mean, yes, it's not as convoluted, but it leads to just sort of like, let's just get there. We know where this is going.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing
But then they're still doing this like, oh, wait, but he was taking money in the Bibles. It's like, yeah, you don't need all of this, man.
I wanted it.
I wanted secret reveals. This movie needed
because
more.
Otherwise, then it is stock character involved in a vampire thing. It's like, well, it's stock character, but then the trope gets broken, and I'm like, all right.
Well, maybe then it should have been revealed earlier or something. It feels like it's just tossed in here, and then it's like,
yeah,
the movie, whatever. We're fighting vampires at this point. Does it really matter? Anyway,
and really, that is all the end becomes. Is that?
Let's see.
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, we've also got the classic thing of one of the guys was bit earlier and he didn't tell anybody.
But see, that I'm sitting there going, because they make a very, it's like, none of you guys got bit, did you? You'll let us know. And the one guy's like, I sure didn't. And then they flash back to him getting bitten. And I'm like, but Orlando Jones was bitten, and then seconds later, he's a vampire. This guy was bitten maybe 30 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's hiding it. This is where it becomes like a zombie movie. And you're like, that's not how vampire works.
No, well, I mean...
Says me, and I stamp my little foot.
Or make it that's how your vampires work, but be consistent within yourself.
Consistent, yeah.
That's the thing. I don't care if you want to deviate from the mythos in general, but be consistent unto your. That's the most important thing to me. Is like, just make the movie make sense. Instead, it's like Orlando Jones becomes a vampire in under 30 seconds. This guy's been bit for hours, and he's slowly.
That's what I'm saying. And then he's like, oh, no, I'm totally fine. And then within a minute, he'll be like, uh-oh, hey, guys. And he's got fangs. And they're like, shit.
Yeah. So anyway, so he bites, he turns into a vampire. He bites preacher husband guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess that's the thing was this guy is revealed to be a hypocrite, and then he's killed like less than 10 minutes later, and you're like, I guess it's okay that he dies because he's actually a bad guy.
They're saving, as they do in these movies, the name characters are going to be the ones that hang out to the end. However, Esmeralda did get separated from them and essentially weirdly seduced by her mother.
Yeah. Sonia Braga does a lot of seducing in this movie.
Oh boy, does she ever!
She seduced me, man. I gave myself over to her. No.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm so glad you came along because there's a special ceremony we're gonna do, and so basically, it's gonna be Ambrose Bierce, and Johnny Madrid, I think. And maybe Boba Fett. They're like the last ones.
Yeah,
left.
It is. It's them because Boba Fett. Boba Fett sent. No, he's the one who ends up getting the kill at the end on Sonia Braga.
Right.
And they're all hanging upside down.
After his daughter, Max on him. This has got plenty of incestuous creepiness. But anyway, so Esmeralda is taken to, I guess, some other part of this endless temple, and the vampires are setting up for a big old ceremony, which is hosted by brand new vampire Orlando Jones, who's now...
Well, oh boy, and this is the most awkward bit in the movie, is where they lift this coffin up with the old grandmother vampire, and I'm watching vampires struggle with this unwieldy coffin. I'm like, this isn't cool, you guys. If they're like, hold on, wait, yep, just gotta turn it.
Oh, that's how heavy it is, man.
Give me a second here. Give me a
and
second.
It's an old woman who's either actually nude or they've put a nude suit on her. Either way, it's pretty disturbing.
And she's got worms crawling all over her.
Dirt and worms on her.
Ooh, creepy, right?
And you got Sonia Braga telling Esmeralda her origin story. It's like, you're actually my daughter, and you are her granddaughter. And this is all about the passing of the crown from one to the other.
It's another thing where, once again, I'm like, my God, we need even more like backstory and stuff. I'm like, God. Oh, this is not an old lady. This is a stunt performer in a costume.
Okay, good. Because that makes it slightly less creepy.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a stunt actor.
The grandmother doesn't say anything.
I don't even think this might not. I don't even think this is a woman. I think this is a guy.
In today's society, it's best not to even make a guess.
I believe, based on what I'm seeing on the IMDb here, it is a male identifying stunt performer / makeup artist.
Okay, but anyway, so then they do this thing of like, and our heroes are restrained because they can't stop this from going on. Like, no, they're hung upside down because they're going to be bled for the ceremony.
Yeah, well, that's also the thing too. I'm like, wait a minute, well, or we weren't talking about a ceremony at any point until right now.
Pretty much, yeah. Other than hints of like, yes, the one we've waited for is here. So they
once again, she just happened to show up now, so it's time for the ceremony.
And Esmeralda's kind of like, I mean, she doesn't. The actress doesn't have much of a range at all, but she's basically acting like she's sort of stupefied or hypnotized. She's like, okay.
I will say her character down the stretch here, I have no idea what I meant to think about how she's moving from scene to scene.
Well, whatever Esmeralda is about to be replaced, because what they do is pretty grossly, Sonia Braga slits the grandma from pubis to chest.
Oh, this is weird. This is weird.
Out of the guts comes a swarm of bats, and I guess that
weird.
Yeah, and that did it for her. And I guess her spirit enters Esmeralda, who's now the queen of the vampires. She is now Santanico Pandemonia, or whatever her name is.
Thank God.
She is now Salma Hayek's character. And so the heroes failed, and now she gets to walk around all slutty in... Sorry, that's judgy. She gets to walk around all
don't shame this vampire princess.
I won't. She's in a very slinky outfit. And she's like...
But not exactly the outfit, of course, but similar to...
That's like 80, 90 years in the future.
Oh, whatever. It's all made up. I mean, it's all supernatural comic book nonsense. That's a great place to freeze on a... I wish people could see how upset Brendan Jones' eyes are.
Oh,
and he's back.
You froze, and I guess I froze. Anyway, so she slinks around. She does she kill Johnny Madrid, or what happens?
No, Johnny Madrid doesn't die.
Oh yeah, he survives.
He survives for the end.
She makes out with her dad,
and then he tries to do the thing where it's like this is what I'm talking about with the inconsistencies. He's like, yes, you may be a vampire princess, but I raised you as my daughter, even though
I whipped you senselessly.
Yeah, we established that he was horribly abusive to her. And then she does the thing where, she's like, no, I love you, Dad, and goes to hug him and then bites him.
Yeah.
So Boba Fett gets bit.
But first, tongue kisses Dad, because again...
You've got to, man.
They do things differently in 1913 Mexico.
That was just how it was back then.
I guess so. Yeah. Especially if you were a vampire.
Oh, you know what? I gotta go to the Ferris Bueller. So that's how it is in their family.
So she does bite him, but he's not turned or killed immediately because he's swinging for his ex. He's going after, because Sonia Braga is now like,
Yeah,
she's
and
transforming.
also Johnny Madrid has gotten himself loose, and he's just stabbing vampires left and right.
Yeah, I can't remember what Bierce is doing other than like going,
No,
because he does get cut down. I
he
just don't remember
does.
what he's doing.
I don't think he does much because
Oh,
Johnny Madrid is the one who stakes Orlando Jones.
yeah, that's right.
And then we got to talk about when he takes the vampire's balls out with his boot knife. I don't want to, but we have to.
He does exactly what John is describing, and we see testicles on the ground.
Yeah, and also a vampire goes, oh.
Not only does he do that, his next line is done in a high-pitched falsetto.
That really hurt.
And I was like, at what point did Mel Brooks come in to take over for a day shooting?
Special guest director Mel Brooks.
I'm gonna get you, Johnny Madrid.
Well, we know he's such a Western master after Blazing Saddles. We thought we should let him get one of the great Westerns of all. I do love that movie, but I'm not sure it really works as a straight-up Western.
From Mongo. Oh, no, it works very well.
Yeah.
Especially the toll booth.
Once again, one of my favorite.
This movie could have used a Mongo cameo. It really could have.
This movie could have used a lot. I mean, like I said, it's not.
Mongo don't like vampires.
It is base level watchable, but it's. Boy, you put any thought to it, or you're looking for anything, it's not. It doesn't work. There's no nourishment here.
Nope, but it sure world builds.
I guess but it kind of even half-assed does that. So you get that. She bites him, but before he turns into a vampire, dies or whatever, the big move that Boba Fett does here is he opens the gate to the outside world, and the sun is coming up, which is. So they were doing this ceremony during the day, but just in a dungeon, so there's no sun, as if. I understand, like, sun hurts them, but they're still doing stuff at night anyway, right?
They're just tired. I mean, during the day, I guess, they don't have to sleep. Mm-hmm. They're just tired. They're doing the ceremony, and they're really wiped out. It's been a long day for them.
Can we get this done? I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, what time is it? Like 1:30?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, boy. Yeah. I just thought that was weird. And so, yeah, people start burning up, and Ambrose Bierce and Johnny Madrid run out.
Oh. So I think you were just talking about Sonia Braga's death, right?
Yeah, because they
she pseudo transforms. She's pressed up against the bars, and she's also topless.
She's stabbed through the bar, like she's caught.
Oh, right.
The bar these bars that latch the door slice through her,
man.
And so she's impaled basically, and then burns up in the sun.
Yes.
Yay.
It's pretty gruesome, also kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I weirdly...
That's kind of this whole movie. Gruesome but dumb.
They're kind of also trying to make you somewhat...
All right. So, yeah, she's burnt
her
up.
last beat... Yeah, that's it for
Sonia Braga. Yeah.
But Esmeralda is... She's hiding from the sun, but we can still see her through the open door, and they're trying to do this sympathetic thing of her going, "Don't leave me, Johnny. Don't leave me here." And you're like, wait, you're an evil vampire queen now.
Right. Yes, exactly. And so, yeah, they run out of there, and she's, I guess, trapped there until we see her again in the next movie, or in the first movie.
Spend several decades dancing around.
I think that's the thing. That's the thing that got me. Is like, I had no thought that this character had an interesting backstory in that first movie. She's such a minor character, is mostly defined by her look, that I'm not like, where is the origin of this? And then you go here and you're like, I don't know how I meant to make this fit with that pretty one-note villain from the first movie.
You didn't care about Blofeld till you found out that he's actually kind of an adoptive brother of James Bond.
He's a foster brother, and, lest we forget, the author of All Your Pain.
Yeah. That's how I often refer to you. As the author of all of my pain.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they close the door up, and then is it just Johnny Madrid and Ambrose Bierce?
It's Johnny Madrid and Ambrose Bierce, and they have almost the exact same dialogue as George Clooney and Juliette Lewis, which is weird because that had a flirty capacity to it, where he's like, "I got to be moving on," and then Johnny Madrid's like, "Could you use some company?" And I thought, "Oh, I kind of want to see this couple happen."
I know you did.
Because that was meant to be, like I said, wasn't that sort of a sexual suggestion? And
kind of was, or at least let me become part of your new family kind of thing. But this implies that they're both going to head down and join Pancho Villa.
They are, and so off they ride as we pull out to reveal who could care at this point. Once again, here's our back to the same shot of the Mayan or Aztec temple,
or maybe it's not CG, maybe it's just a matte painting. But
it looks like it's the same matte painting, just with a new front on,
well, an old-fashioned without big 18-wheelers parked around it.
No, they left that in. I think that was a mistake.
And then that's the end of the movie until after the credits, when Samuel L. Jackson shows up
and says, "Hey man, what's a guy got to do to get a drink around here?"
He's like going, have you heard about the Santanico Pandemonia initiative? We're putting a group together.
And then he even looks at the camera and goes, is anybody really interested in this? Does anybody care? No.
Right. This does have a button scene, and it's lame. It's the modern day. We're in a bar somewhere. Michael Parks has been telling this story to a guy next to him, and he's like going, "Wait, you're saying vampire hookers in the Old West and, a famous novelist. Okay, well, that's a crazy story, stranger." And then, oh, surprise, it is Michael Parks in the modern day is still Ambrose Bierce. He goes, "Well, there's only, I can convince you it was real, that it actually happened." He goes, "Yeah, well, maybe some other time. I got to get back to my family." He goes, "Well, hold on a second." And then he just punches his hand through the guy's chest, pulls out his heart, and chomps on it with vampire eyes.
What is this meant to, I mean, like, there's no indication.
That Ambrose Bierce was turned into a vampire.
No,
I
understand that, but I'm saying, what does this do for the mythos?
It means that the vampires are immortal and they're just going to keep going. And that there's always room for Mexican vampire.
I don't know. It just seems like, but once again, like if the whole idea is this is going to catch us up to the first movie, Ambrose Bierce doesn't have anything to do with that, so who cares?
You are so angry.
I am furious about this movie.
When you get this kind of rage going, I know to back off.
I come in here going, "God damn this fucking movie." No, I don't care. I just think it's so interesting. I just don't know what is being gained from if this is meant to be this origin tale. It's weird that it ends on Ambrose Bierce, not the character who actually continues into From Dusk Till Dawn.
It just means this legacy of the titty twister continues, and that there's an endless variety of stories that can be told. I
am currently working on a book called The Legacy of the Titty Twister. So
I know you are.
Yeah. Finally.
But yours is actually about the legacy of the physical prank where people actually do a titty twister.
Where did that start? Where's origins? It's surprising. I don't want to give too much away. People should pre-order a copy though. So yeah, and then of course, if you want even like way more of this, you can go watch the TV show, which I don't think anyone needs to though. But it's like Robert Rodriguez is like, "No, I had even more ideas, you guys."
Jesus.
Do we recommend people watch this? I don't really recommend people watch it, but at the same time, I don't go like run away. There's just no reason to watch it though.
No, there's no reason. That's basically the score with this one. Also, like, you might think, oh, are they leaning into the grindhouse aspect? In other words, is this gorier? It's on a par with the first one. Is it sexier or more erotic? No. I mean, there's boobs,
but none of it there's no not to make a pun of it with the titty twister, but there's no titillation really to even the
No.
sexuality of it. It's all just like, okay. It almost
Yeah.
all the boobs that are in it are just like, because we have to put those in, you know.
It does feel exactly that it's Charles Bandish quota.
Yeah,
Where
and
it's
it's
like,
just like,
oh, I got to put some in.
yeah, it's
So
just like, here you go, because most of the boobs are just in that that scene where they're walking down the hallway and seeing people have sex, and you're just like, there you go, guys, there it is, there's our R rating.
yeah.
So some okay gore, but I wouldn't say that's a reason to even check it out. It's
No.
yeah, it's just pretty this is forgettable more than it's like terrible.
Here's the thing, though. I still to this day, I haven't seen it done really well, except for if you're talking about a modern Western like, Near Dark.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of vampires in the Old West.
Agreed.
And still have not seen it done.
The best I can think of is if you've read some of if anybody's read Scott Snyder's American Vampire. There's some some
sure.
Old West vampire stuff in that comic book.
I thought you were going to say if any of you have read like the works of Joe R. Lansdale.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean,
that guy does plenty of that kind of classic monsters or weird Lovecraftian beings, but in Western settings.
And that's great too. Actually, I do like that.
Oh no,
stuff.
I love that shit.
And that's the thing though, where I'm going, but a movie or TV show has yet to really nail it. Once again, it's like, Near Dark or From Dusk Till Dawn. These have Western elements, but they're not set in the Old West. Yeah, that is a bummer.
And none of you guys write in or call saying you forgot about Billy the Kid meets Dracula. And no,
there's a movie. I'll tell you the movie that gets closest to it, and it's not overtly supernatural. But have you seen Bone Tomahawk? Because that is horror.
I have.
That's cannibalistic. Cult members in the Old West eating people.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers?
Well, cave dwellers, so not as fun.
So they're chud.
They're a little chuddish. It's a little bit, but no, that's the kind of thing where it's like people being taken from a town, being torn apart and eaten, and Kurt Russell's got to stop the madness. It's well worth anyone's time. It is that's as good as I've seen of like a horror Western. It's still not overtly supernatural, but it'll get you close.
I would anytime believe would save us from that would be Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. I mean, that would be the dream, right? If Carpenter had actually made a supernatural Western with Russell, like if he actually was like an Old West sheriff fighting vampires.
Then he would say, I kind of see this as a Western. And everyone would go,
well, I guess, what are you talking about? We just had John Carpenter's Vampires. That was a Western vampire movie. Once again, I feel like John Carpenter's every pitch is like, I don't know, what if it was a Western, you guys? I'm sure his version of Christine was somehow...
you know that this is an American in Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, I see this as a Western musical.
He, at one point, was going to direct Firestarter. I'm sure that would have been a Western somehow.
Yeah.
I wish he had, by the way. I really wish he had directed Firestarter. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so next week on the show, Brendan, I can't believe it. We finally are getting to the end of the 1990s. It is the last entry of the 1990s. But I'm also thankful we're going out on a high note. It is finally time, probably our most teased episode, because I bring this movie up all the time just in my life. 1999's The Mummy from director Stephen Sommers.
Yes.
We are about to get, 20 times the budget of this thing? I don't even know. Like, a massive jump forward.
I think that says a lot about they clearly believed in him.
Yeah.
They clearly believed in that cast and in that script, because no studio, I think, would look at, especially in the late 90s, would look at a mummy and go, yes, give it all the money. But in this case, it did pay off grandly. We'll talk about it. They had a great pitch,
and we're closing out with one of our favorite guests. Elliot Lewis will be back on the show to talk The Mummy with us. I know they also have a great love for that movie.
I miss Elliot. It's about time.
It has been a while that we haven't. It's been a while.
But here's the bad thing: if we're finishing out, the 90s.
Yes.
immediately after we're done watching that movie,
Mhm.
we better protect our computers against the Y2K virus.
Well, I will say, I mean, just to give a tease of where next season is starting, we better watch out because Dracula 2000 is coming for those computers.
Oh, God.
Isn't that what that's about? Isn't he eating computers or something?
That's exactly what it is.
I believe that's the case. No, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's going to be a dumb
he
episode.
sucks RAM out of people's computers.
What happened? I thought there was much more hard drive space on this computer. Wait, was Dracula in here?
It's going to be hard to watch, specifically one particular actress who's completely wasted in that movie, but that's for down the line.
There's actually that. I think that movie weirdly has a lot of good people in it. Stupidly, but we'll get there. That's 2 weeks out. In the meantime, we can celebrate the fact that we're talking Mummy next week.
Oh yeah, very excited. So we made it through some bad.
Boy, two weeks of From Dusk Till Dawn, because we almost did these like sandwich between some. I'm kind of glad that we just knock these two out and just like they're done. All right, we're done.
Plus, since we saw them back to back, we are now encyclopedic in our knowledge of the Dusk Till Dawn verse.
Boy, and I a little bit more because I did watch that first season of that TV show when it was on. So I remember,
and I a little bit more because I've actually been to the Titty Twister.
There you go. I think you used to hang out there a lot, actually. That was a different time in your life, though.
Me and Santanico were like this. Not so much Razor Charlie. That guy, I got no time.
No, well, he's tough to get to know. You know, he's one of those guys. Yeah, he's a little standoffish.
He's very helpful. Do you notice that? I mean, he actually is a good bartender. He's very solicitous, and he gave that guy a ride to a motel.
He sure
if that
did.
Guy in the movie had not killed his friend or hit him with his car, he probably would have just dropped that guy off at the motel. No vampire stuff at all. Anyway, so next week I'm very excited, and until then, let's scrub this from our brain.
Yeah, this is gone. It's this is a movie that's already leaving. This whole podcast was me fighting to remember anything. So
yes, by the time I get to my iPad where I log on to Letterboxd, I won't remember what movie I'm trying to go and rate.
What was this? Oh, I would. And you need this on your Letterboxd, man.
I'm trying to be thorough. I'm putting in movies that I'd be embarrassed to admit I've seen, but I'm trying to be like I did see it.
So that's gonna do it though for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. And there's a monster at Brendan's apartment apparently.
Well, someone needs a muffler. But yes, you've been John Campbell,
and you've been Brendan Jones. And remember, there are such things as monsters.
See, in Spanish, it's the devil's nipple.